There is such a freedom in working for yourself.
That control that you have over your own destiny is just something you can't trade for anything.
You gotta love doing what you do.
Success or failure rests upon my shoulders.
There's so many facets to it as a business owner and so many different types of businesses that you can run.
What's trending is what's always trended, which is people finding authentic answers to problems that we all face every day.
We see people coming in to get business licenses for the mom and pop shop. We see them for their home occupation. We see them for the mall. We see them for everything. So it gives you an appreciation for the level of activity that's going on in the county and the diversity of the activity that's going on.
A lot of people are actually very surprised that you can come in and within the hour you can leave with your business license. So many times I will, we hand the business license over and people are like, oh, this is it.
If a guy like me, who had zero business experience after college, can start a business in Henrico, then anybody can do it. So the county made it really simple for me to actually do the things that were necessary to get business licensed and to just set up.
Entrepreneurs are wired to want to work for themselves, and it makes such a wonderful life because you put the hours in, you get it back, and you only have you really to account for and the people that work with you. And it's a lot less stress, even doing 4 or 5 businesses like I'm doing now.
The first step that I would say, the first thing I would absolutely recommend for any new entrepreneur is to get outside of your comfort zone in terms of the people advising you on your idea or your product or your service, because those closest to us tend to always give us really positive feedback.
You've got to really probe other people. Well, what do you think about this? How would it feel if you were a customer? Is this too expensive? What do you think about that? Why is this important, or is it important? I mean, just really out of the box questions.
At the beginning of starting any business, and this was certainly the case for me, you never know what you really have. How big is this idea? No company that we're aware of knows exactly what the future holds. I think that the absolute key to this is being committed, being passionate, and willing to take that risk, willing to take that chance on yourself and your idea to see what happens.
Sometimes it's good to not know what you don't know. But I did have an idea, I had a dream, I had a thought about how we could do things better, and so I took a risk. We now have grown to be a national provider of professional temporary staffing service, executive search on the human resources and management accounting side. We also do staffing process consulting and employer of record payroll solutions. If you're thinking primarily about making money, then you're going to miss the point. Any good entrepreneur has come up with some innovative solution to a problem. It's either a corporate problem or an individual or consumer problem.
The process of turning an idea into reality for me really was kind of a team effort between my wife and I, and it came out of a problem. And that's kind of what I usually see with entrepreneurial companies. And our problem was trying to find the best high quality natural dog chews for our dogs, Espy and Sushi. And when we went out to the market, we just didn't find exactly what we were looking for. Hence, we decided to do it ourselves, and so that was about 8 years ago, and we've grown quite well since then.
Really, it's about fundamentals at first. It's about your QuickBooks, it's about marketing, it's about establishing an LLC. So all of those key elements can be inundating at first.
I'm a huge believer in asking for what you need and being humble enough to appreciate it and to be willing to give back. But if you need something, you need to ask for it, and most of the time people are more than willing to help you.
You know, if you're going to succeed in business, you do need to surround yourself with people who are either doing the same thing or just simply in a diverse business area in general. And you know, by osmosis, you give some information to them and they learn it, and you get some from them, and collectively you end up being better than you would be if you were in a different place.
Henrico is a very unique jurisdiction in regards to the business license. If a business makes less than $100,000 in Henrico, there's no tax and there's no fee for the business license.
It's nice to sometimes write that check for taxes. It makes you look at your books and make you work harder to get to that $100,000 or more goal just to be able to write that check. People see taxes as a bad thing, but it also makes you look at things in a different way when you see that you've made that money. It gives you a lot of leeway.
One of the things that when people talk about the business license or other business taxes, it helps the community overall because it takes pressure off of the residents as a tax base. Those are dollars that don't have to be collected from individual homeowners or car owners. So it is very helpful to have a thriving business community in your jurisdiction.
Well, all my businesses have been in Henrico, except now I have one down in Florida and one in Illinois. And I will tell you, it's a lot easier to start a business in Henrico than in Chicago or Oak Park, Illinois. It's less bureaucratic, it's more friendly to business, and I have been very pleased. I mean, really seriously, because I've made a great career here.
The process of actually setting up the business in the county was very streamlined. It was very easy, very intuitive. Everything was kind of housed in one place. I mean, it was streamlined, it was fast, it was efficient, and it made it an enjoyable experience for me, the business owner.
If a customer wants to file for an assumed or fictitious name, you would come up to the Circuit Court Record Room, which is located on the second floor of the courts building. They can either have the application printed out and notarized and bring it in with them, or use one of our computers and fill it out in the record room. The first thing that they'll be asked is to fill out the form. Is the business going to be here in Henrico County? And secondly, what's the name of the business going to be? And then they'll have to check on the form whether it's a sole proprietorship, how they're setting it up. And you can check on one of our computers here to see if that name has been previously used or not. I mean, you don't want to have two businesses with the same names. It could be very confusing for people out there. Once they do that, they take it to the information desk for the deputy clerk there to help them process it. They're going to swear you in and ask you to swear that everything that you've put in the document is true and accurate. We're hoping that it's an easy process for them. There's not a lot of running around for them. They come here, they go downstairs. They can pull things beforehand if they prefer that method, or if they need help when they're here, we've got staff that will help them through the process.
The folks that I spoke with at the County of Henrico were so knowledgeable and efficient. What I've found is those people have a base of knowledge with respect to that area that was equal to that of any attorney that I probably could have found. They were efficient, customer friendly, and I'm not just saying words. This is the actual reality that I experienced. They made the process very, very simple for me, and I appreciate that.
It really is fairly straightforward, and that's our aim, to make it as painless as possible. Then you go to the business permit office downstairs in room 136.
Hey, pretty well. How are you? Good. You here to get a business license?
We process about 4,000 to 5,000 new businesses every year, and it does fluctuate depending on the economy. We also process around 20,000 renewals in a year. So it's a fairly busy operation. We have them fill out the application, the necessary paperwork. You know, I think the staff is very good at getting the necessary information and walking them through the process. Then we send them to the permit center because a license cannot be issued without zoning approval.
The Henrico zoning ordinance allows certain uses at certain locations and prohibits them at others. So if you're attempting to open a business, you may be only permitted in certain locations in the county, and we need to verify that what you want to do is permitted where you want to do it. We encourage people to call early before they get too invested in the process. Zoning can be intimidating. It's not intuitive by any stretch of the imagination. It can be complicated. It's also a legal question. So we encourage you to call, dot your I's and cross your T's before you get too involved to save yourself a lot of time and money.
It really sounds like a scary process initially, but it's really very simple. And we've got the business permit office and our office working together to help direct people and get them in and out quickly and efficiently.
In starting a business, I think it's important to realize that it's not nearly as intimidating as one might think. From permitting to location to whatever it may be, that's really easy. You know, the hard part to me is really agreeing to take the leap of faith personally. And I always encourage people to start small and really see how it goes. And obviously you've got the county behind you every step of the way, making that process more efficient and easier to do.
We see ourselves as an educational office. If you've got questions about the county, zoning, building, anything that we can help you with, if we don't know the answer, we can usually find out the person that does and get you in the right direction. We have a series of questions and a questionnaire that we ask you to fill out before you get here. We're going to take a look at that when you come to the counter. You're going to be referred to a planning technician. They're going to review your application, look at the GIS to verify that what you want to do is permitted at that location, approve it, and send you back down to finance or to the circuit court clerk's office if you want to register your trade name.
I did this space as a build it and they will come. I did a Field of Dreams. Once I had secured the name of the facility, then I went to the Henrico County Business License Department. Then I went up to then they send you up to the zoning department, and I had all of my architectural plans. They approved it right there, and then went back down, and the next thing I knew, I had a business license in my hand and ready to start business. I'm Richmond's first culinary incubator, so I help small food businesses get off the ground. We help people who want to be food entrepreneurs. So if you wanted to open a food truck, if you're thinking about opening up being a caterer, a restaurant, all without having that massive overhead to start off with, you want to start off in a culinary incubator. Luckily, the space that I chose for the facility was in the correct zoning. And that's a big deal, because if it's not in the right zoning, you can't get your business license.
I definitely think one of the strengths of the county is the level of expertise amongst the different agencies that are involved. This process is as streamlined as it can be, even though to an outsider it may look like a lot of steps. But the catch is, what we're doing is getting people to the experts for each subject that they need to be informed of, or each step in the process that they need to complete. One of the other things that we do is we work pretty closely with the Economic Development Authority.
We attract finance, insurance, corporate headquarters, and we also attract manufacturers and distributors because of the location that we're in along 64 and 95.
The right location means everything for a business. It means where you can attract your employees. How close are you to transportation networks and things like that? And we looked really at all the different municipalities in Central Virginia and ultimately settled on Henrico.
Any company that's expanding, we're very excited about, because that's great for our economy, it's great for our market, it's great for the county, and it's great for the new employees that they're going to hire.
It's really great to see people starting something that becomes bigger than they are and that they can pass on and that's really theirs. There's actually something that can be a legacy.
It's more than just a business. It's really the community, it's where you live, it's where you work, and people feel that.
If you're motivated enough, there is a business out there that you can start.
If you told me 10 years ago that this would be my life, I would have never believed it.
That kind of fulfillment, it's hard to find elsewhere.